lifestyle.
Coming up on UCF Nightly News, we're about to find out UCF's next president. The 8 semifinalists spoke to UCF students this week.
Plus, learn about opioid addiction through a recovering addict's eyes and how one UCF professor is finding solutions to the problem.
And in sports, we see how UCF men's basketball plans to stay ahead in conference rankings.
Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to UCF Nightly News. I'm Christina Diaz.
And I'm Alexandria Bozargian. Today is Friday, February 23rd, 2018.
Governor Rick Scott announced a major plan of action to keep Florida students safe. He divides his plan into 3 sections. First is a program making it nearly impossible for anyone with a mental health issue to own a gun. Part is to have a law enforcement official in every public school. The final part of the action plan is to include $50 million towards mental health services. The plan does not mention colleges or universities. He will be working aggressively with legislators over the next 2 weeks to get this done. As of now, there is no mention of public colleges and universities on his action plan.
It's called concealed carry, where a teacher would have a concealed gun on them.
President Trump tweeted this week that a gun-free school is a magnet for bad people, and arming teachers can end these attacks. However, UCF Police Chief Richard Berry has concerns with allowing guns on campus.
To just merely have a gun in a dangerous situation, you create more of a danger. The law enforcement officer is going to get there and not know who the real bad guy is. So not only is that individual, the Good Samaritan, in danger, our officers are in danger, and other people in the area are in danger.
Chief Berry stresses that most professors aren't qualified to handle firearms, and hiring more security is the better option.
You need to leave professional law enforcement to the people that know what they're doing.
UCF professor Dr. Charles Nagy agrees with Chief Berry.
Most of us are never been in the military, we've never been in the police force, but why have professors be the police officers? Why not hire security people?
But UCF Gun Club member Storm Berman offers a solution to Chief Berry's concerns.
So a lot of people get worried, like if there is an incident, that police would come and, shoot the person who's trying to help. But if you go through some type of a sheepdog policy, you'd have the people who are licensed to carry either open or concealed, but there'd be some type of a marker.
Berman stresses that this could be the first step to solve America's gun problem. However, lawmakers continue to search for the best and most effective solution that complies with the community's concerns. Reporting from Orlando, Jane Kim, UCF Nightly News.
The Polk County Sheriff's Office says a private university in Central Florida is already arming professors. After special training, teachers at Weber International University can carry guns on campus. Congress has not confirmed any new legislation yet.
Half of the UCF presidential candidates are on campus today. Carla Rodriguez is live to give us a look at how UCF plans to shorten the list. Carla, can you tell us what's going on?
The Presidential Search Committee still interviewing the last 4 out of the 8 semifinalists. Now, among those in the committee today is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, who touched on the subjects of inclusivity on campus. Among those subjects were research capabilities, art, science, and environmental subjects. Now, the ultimate decision on who the committee would recommend to become the next president will be in the next 2 hours. Down to 8 semifinalists for the position of UCF's 5th president. Each candidate takes the floor for an hour and 15 minutes. Yesterday, UCF got a closer look at 4 of the 8 candidates and are wrapping the final 4 as we speak. After today, the committee will select 3 to 5 finalists. The selected finalists will visit campus for 2-day interviews March 1st through the 8th. UCF will select its new president on March 9th. The committee will ultimately decide on who they're going to recommend to take the next step to become UCF's next leader. They'll go towards the finals, and we'll keep you updated after 2:30 on their update. I'm Carla Rodriguez. Back to you, and Christina.
Thanks, Carla. Affidavits have been filed against SGA candidates Josh and Jad, who are running for president and vice president at UCF. According to Jad, there have been 9 violations against his campaign. This is the pair's second time running. Among other issues, the two decided to use the same social media for last year's campaign. This is considered an unfair advantage against their opponents. On Thursday, Jad deleted and recreated all of the campaign's social media in compliance with the allegation. Jad explains more on his understanding of the violations.
The thing is, no one's ever run like 2 years back to back. So it created some confusion, I guess, with some of the statutes as far as social media and et cetera, et cetera.
The next violation hearing is on Wednesday. Jad is hopeful for the campaign and says he is confident about their place on the ballot. Make sure to tune back in here for updates.
3 buses filled with sleeping bags, pillows, and students in burgundy shirts traveled to Florida's capital this week. Over 100 students from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High rallied in Tallahassee's streets. So did students from all over the state. The group visited the Capitol to protest for gun control. One UCF student, Allie Johnson, joined them.
It hit home a lot more this time, I think. And I just kind of pictured myself in the school or like my friends in the school, and it just really was personal. So I just felt like I needed to go and support them.
Several Pulse survivors also joined in the support of the students. There is also a nationwide school walkout planned on March 14th by the Parkland students. The grieving students hope their rally would put more pressure on the Florida legislature to make change.
UCF Student Care Services has resources for students who need support after last week's shooting. An email to faculty shows about 400 students at UCF have connections to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. UCF Care Services is offering counseling and psychological services. They're also helping students adjust back to their regular schedules. Associate Director Anne-Marie Palmer says it's up to professors to excuse students from class.
We understand that during a difficult time like this, class sometimes is not in the forefront of their minds, and we really do encourage our faculty to be supportive of students during this difficult time.
Students affected by a shooting. Even more have appointments for next week.
South Florida's blood banks are running low. UCF's One Blood organization is encouraging students to donate. Donations are needed to refill what was used to treat Parkland victims in the Stoneman Douglas school shooting last week. The turnaround for a blood donation is within 3 to 5 days. Every 2 seconds in the U.S., someone is in need of blood. Blood donations tend to rise after a traumatic event. There are more than 200 One Blood Big Red buses traveling around the southeast part of the U.S. If you're interested in donating blood, log on to oneblood.org to find a Big Red bus near you.
President Donald Trump's proposed budget includes billions to fight the opioid crisis. In Florida, state officials consider opioid abuse a public safety emergency. Nightly News shows us what UCF researchers are doing about this problem.
These are years of sobriety.
3 coins for 3 years. For Danielle Quinn, they represent how far she has come since her college days up north.
How is that hurting people? It's a little powder. So then I tried it, and I loved it.
That powder was heroin. But when she moved to Florida, pills were easier to find.
I went to the corner store, which was half a block away, stood there for about 5 minutes and just saw somebody. And I said, hey, you got pills? Yeah, what do you need?
Quinn is one of the millions addicted to opioids. Throughout the country, addicts turn to places known as pill mills. UCF criminal justice professor Jacinta Gao received a large grant to study legislation to stop pill mills.
Ultimately, what is problematic about these types of establishments is that they are, on their face, legal operations.
The CDC reported in 2012 that healthcare providers wrote enough prescriptions for every American adult to have a bottle of pills. And that's how it starts for heroin addicts. UCF Medical Education Assistant Dean Dr. Martin Klafik says training is improving.
We start off by trying to teach the students how to do a good, thorough pain assessment, a history examination.
Opioid-related deaths in Florida went down in 2007 but spiked in 2015. Quinn says she wasn't afraid of dying.
The sad part about it is if they pass away and like, oh, they must have got something really good. What was that?
She says that changed after the birth of her child.
I got arrested. So it's not me just getting arrested. I just got to worry about myself. I had a son, I had a child, and that was probably one of the most devastating moments of my entire life because I grew up with my parents being addicted, my mom being addicted to drugs.
Quinn found a new excitement for life, and she hopes others can find that too. The Council of Medical School Deans in Florida has developed a pain management task force. The task force is working to develop a set of required skills for medical students before they graduate. Dr. Klafik says he is excited to see medical schools come together to try to fight this crisis.
Coming up after the break, some UCF programs are moving to the new downtown campus. Find out how your Knights feel about their programs moving downtown. Some students and faculty are preparing for their programs to move downtown. The new campus will give students the opportunity to study in an urban environment. Nightly News spoke with students and faculty to see how they feel about the move. UCF's downtown campus will be home to digital media, communication, and public service degrees. Mike Kilbride assures students that each program improves by being downtown.
We had a team of faculty that came together and looked at academic programs at UCF to determine what were those programs. And the ones we found to relocate would be made better by being downtown.
They call these benefits the Urban Campus Advantage. Dr. Mark Consalo, professor in the Legal Studies program, is eager to be a 5-minute walk away from a courthouse. He says the new campus brings opportunity.
So one of the big things I'm excited about is we're actually going to have a courtroom. So that's not something that's existed here at UCF's campus before, but it's something that has existed in training legal professionals for a long time.
Approximately 5,400 students from this campus will be relocated downtown to a campus that will be built right here. But some students have mixed feelings about the change.
Honestly, it'd be kind of inconvenient. I think it's going to give us a lot more opportunities. Would have been cool to know that before I chose this school.
One student is excited to move downtown, but does have a concern.
I'm afraid I'll miss important events here when living down there, especially because it's so far away.
The new campus is approximately 30 minutes away from UCF's main location. It is being built across from the UCF Center for Emerging Media. The campus is expected to open fall of 2019. A shuttle and student housing will be available to students. For more information, you can visit www.ucf.edu/downtown.
Coming up next, UCF researchers are developing a new laser technology. Find out how this laser is a step up from those of its kind.
Plus, Khalil will tell us what the weather will look like this weekend. Cutting C2. We just teased C2. I know, I heard that. Are we cutting? It's been pretty hot outside this past week. I wonder what the weather is going to be like this weekend.
Yeah, I hope it cools down. Hey, Khalil, can you tell us what the weather is going to, if it's going to continue to heat up?
Well, Alex, it looks like it's going to stay pretty sunny for the next few days, but we might be experiencing some slight showers on a couple of those days. Let's take a look at what our neighbors are seeing across the state right now. For our highs, we have 83 degrees in Tallahassee. If we go over to the east in Jacksonville, it's a bit cooler at 80. Down to Tampa, it's 85. And if we go all the way down south in Miami, it's cooler at 80. In Orlando right now, we're experiencing 86-degree high. Now for our lows. In Tallahassee, it's 62 degrees. In Jacksonville, it's 63. And if we go down south again, it's 73. Back up in Orlando, it's 66. Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Our Saturday starts off being 85 degrees for the high and 69 degrees for the low. It's going to be 88 on Sunday with a low of 70. It's also going to have a 20% chance of rain. On Monday, it's going to be partly cloudy with 86 degrees for a high and then 66 degrees for the low. And then on Tuesday, it's going to be 82 degrees with a low of 65. It's also going to be 20% chance of rain. On Wednesday, it's going to be sunny with an 83 degrees for high and a 66 for the low. Now let's go back to Saturday and Sunday. Even though it says 20% chance of rain, that will not take us out of our abnormally dry status that we have right now on the United States Drought Index. But also on Saturday at Lake Eola, they're having the 10th annual Wine and Food Festival. So it's the perfect time to get out there and experience that sun that you will be having. Now let's talk about what else you can do for the weekend. Since it's pretty sunny, you can also go down to the beach. Hey, maybe even hit up the pool. Let's go for a bike ride, maybe even go to the park. Now, that's all the time we have for today. Back to you, Alex and Christina at the desk.
Coming up after the break, Jimmy talks sports and how the women's basketball team is gearing up for the next road game.
Plus, UCF baseball returns home for a 3-game series this weekend when we come back.
Good afternoon, UCF Knights. I'm Jimmy Calhoun with your nightly sports update. 4 UCF athletes have been awarded with the Order of Pegasus, the highest honor a student can receive. Prior to 2018, there were only 10 student athletes who received this award. This year, the number grew by 40%. The award is given to students based on their academic achievement, university involvement, leadership, and community service. The athletes who have been named to the Order of Pegasus are Matthew Wright, Bailey Ranson, Taylor Wicke, and Anthony Katati. We will continue coverage of these student athletes as the award ceremony gets closer. The UCF men's basketball team will play Temple for the second time this season on Sunday. The Knights beat the Owls 60-39 back on January 7th. That was a season-low point total for Temple. UCF was able to hold them to 32% shooting and 18% from behind the arc. That game was at the CFE Arena. This time, it will be in Philadelphia. UCF is only 5-5 on the road. It will be a big game for the Knights, though, as Temple is only 1 game back of UCF in the conference standings. Tip-off is at 2 p.m. The UCF women's basketball team will travel to Houston to play the Cougars on Saturday. UCF has not had a problem playing on the road this season. They are currently 9-5 away from the CFE Arena. That is after coming off a big road win against Memphis on Wednesday. This will be UCF's final conference road game of the season. Houston is only one game back of the Knights in the conference standings. If UCF can win, they will guarantee themselves a top 3 finish in the AAC. Tip-off is at 1 p.m. Sticking to the hardware, the UCF volleyball team begins their spring schedule this weekend. The Knights will play a tournament at USF on Saturday. UCF will have matches against FAU, FGCU, Polk State, and USF. Last season, the Knights went undefeated against these opponents. UCF will look to continue the success of last year. They reached the second round of the National Invitational Volleyball Championship. The tournament is set to last all day. From the hardwood now to the field, the UCF softball team has a busy weekend. The Knights will begin the Green and Gold Classic in Jacksonville. They will have a doubleheader on Friday against Western Carolina and then Penn State. UCF will bounce back on Saturday with another doubleheader. The Knights will have a rematch against Western Carolina and then take on James Madison. They will end the weekend against Jacksonville University on Sunday at 2. The UCF baseball team will begin their weekend series against Savannah State tonight. After an impressive win on opening night against Virginia, the Knights have dropped their last 3 games. UCF will return home after a 1-run loss to Stetson in DeLand on Tuesday. In that game, the Knights threw 10 strikeouts for the second straight time. The last weekend at home brought a record crowd to John Uliano Park with over 7,000 fans. The first pitch is scheduled for 6:30 tonight. The UCF women's soccer team will play in their first spring game of the year on Saturday. The Knights will take on the Gators at the UCF soccer complex. This will be the first of 4 spring matches for UCF. The slate also features UNF, FAU, and USF. They'll have to travel to UNF and USF, but end their spring schedule at home against FAU on April 14th. For the second spring in a row, UCF will also host an alumni match. Details for that game have yet to be announced. And that's all we have for the sports update. I'm Jimmy Calhoun. Back to you, Christina and Alex.
Thanks, Jimmy. Hey, Alex, did you hear about the concert that was announced for spring?
Yeah, I think it's Jesse McCartney, right?
It is Jesse McCartney. I think it's this April, they're coming to the CFE Arena with a couple of other bands.
Yeah, that's a real throwback.
That is a really good throwback.
Which one is your favorite? What was your favorite Jesse McCartney song?
I would have to say Beautiful Soul, because that's a classic.
That's a good one. That's a great one. I liked Leaving.
Oh, Leaving's a pretty good one. It has some like good beats in the background of that one.
Yeah. It's really nice out too, you know?
Are you planning on going outside at all this weekend?
Yeah. I think I'm going to go to the beach.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on nightlynews.ucf.edu.
And if you have a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@ucf.edu. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
UCF.edu.